I made a video a while back about making a hemp twine square knot ring, and someone asked if I could show the beginning and the end of the ring, and I said sure. I think my main focus in that video was how to get the square knots right, because that's a little confusing to me sometimes. But I will show you today how to start that ring and how to finish it. And we'll start with, it's good if you have a mandrel, a ring mandrel. This is an old, I think, steel one. I've had it for a long time, as you can tell by its aged, weathered appearance. They're easy enough to come by at your big craft stores like I think Hobby Lobby might have them, but Michael's or Joann's. If you order online, Fire Mountain or Rio Grande will certainly have them, and I know that there are plenty of other places that you can get a ring mandrel from. You'll need some fabric glue. This is Fabric Fuse. I believe I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. You'll need some cord to knot. This is hemp cord. I particularly like hemp cord for this kind of project because it holds its shape really well. It's durable as iron. It wears like iron, but it gets softer as it ages, so that's really nice. I have a hemp twine bracelet that someone made me over 30 years ago, and it's still just as stout as ever, but it's soft. It's so soft. So ring mandrel, twine, fabric glue, scissors, and washi tape is helpful. You could put the washi tape on your mandrel at the size marker where you need to make your ring. So for this project, I'm going to make it to fit me, and we'll need about a yard of twine. Now on these little spools, just look for that rough edge and give it a tug. And there's the end of your line. An old-timey measure for a yard is to hold it at your nose and stretch your arm all the way out. You could also call that half a wingspan. So I'm going to cut it a yard and change, just a little bit longer than a yard. And we'll set this aside. First thing we want to do is find the ends. And find the ends, bring them together. This is a measuring tactic. So we find the ends and then we pull it down to where the middle is. So now we have the middle, and you want to do this kind of a slip knot kind of thing like this. How I do that is to put my thumb and forefinger inside and bring this down and bring this together, and there it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually measure it on my finger, because when we make the knots it makes the interior diameter a little smaller, so you actually want to make this part of the ring a little bit larger than you ultimately want it, but not too much, because it may stretch a little bit over time. Not too much though. It really holds its shape amazingly well, but you want it to be loose enough that you can work with it. Now what I like to do next is to go ahead and put it on the ring mandrel, holding that size right there, and actually it's gonna go a little bit farther up than where I have that tape. We'll move that tape, and so I have this loop ring on here. And I've got a little elastic on my lap desk here, so I'll put that right there to hold it. And we'll just put the tiniest little dab of fabric glue right there. Tiniest little dab to hold that in place, because otherwise it's slippery and it goes around here and there and becomes really difficult to hold when you're trying to get those first couple of knots started. So we're going to let that get sticky. In the meantime, we're going to move the washi tape. I actually have a fresh piece here somewhere, I think. Nope, I have lost it in the process, so we'll see if we can use this one again. I'll usually put that washi tape where I want this to meet it. And so that's going to be about 1, 2, 3, well, that's right about 10, actually. That's not as big as I ultimately want it. I mean, I want it not that big when I'm done, but I need it to come to there right now. Right to there. So we're gonna let that glue firm up a little bit so it will hold for us while we continue on with our project. Okay, I think that's going to be dry enough to hold, so we can pull this off. And see, there's the loop. We're going to work back this way around the ring. You want to keep these two straight. Don't let them get crossed up. I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if they did, but you want to keep them straight. And probably the easiest way to start is to lay your twine on your mandrel up here so that you have room to work. And you're going to take one of these, and what we're going to do is we're going to come in front. I hope you can see this. Come in front with one of these lines. With the other line, we're going to come over that tail. Over the tail, under the work. It's a little tricky. Getting started is the hardest part, as with so many things in life. So this one goes over. We're gonna, with this one here, we're gonna go over the tail, under the work, and through the loop. If you have pulled your cord off a spool like I did, and this curliness is driving you crazy, one way to get around that is to take your length, dampen it, and then hang it somewhere with the weight on the end to pull that curl out. If I were doing production, that's probably what I would do. But I don't do that much of this. So now you will pull these tight. You want to preserve that position there. You want to preserve where it is. So we're going to pull it down to the washi tape and make sure we haven't stretched it out or cinched it up too tight. And then we'll pull this good and snug, this first knot. Okay, in the square knot, what you do is you alternate which side goes over the top. So the first one, this side came over first. This time, this side will come over first. And then this side, this strand will come over the tail, and under the work and through the loop. Like so. And then pull that knot up good and snug. Good and snug. And we can check it again to make sure it's staying where we want it to. Okay. There. We could leave it right there, except we can't get under it to make our knots. Kind of almost veered off camera there, so we'll pull it back down to where we can get under it to make our knots. And again, we alternate which side goes over first. This side goes over first, like so. This one goes over the tail, and under the work. Under, there you go, and through the loop. Over the tail, under the work, and through the loop. See? And then pull it up snug. For just the first few knots, we'll pull it back down to the tape. Cinch it up good. Good, okay. Now let's see if I can work this on my finger now. Okay. So the one that is underneath there is the one that will go over here. This one goes over the tail, under the work, and through the loop. Now this one goes first. And this one goes over the tail, under the work, and through the loop. Like so. We'll just continue this on fast forward. It doesn't take very long at all, really. It doesn't take very long at all to complete this ring. we're almost done. One, maybe two more knots. I think we will do one more, just one more. And what we'll do here is we'll get it started. We'll get it started, but before we cinch it up tight, we'll put a little bit of glue in there to grab those fibers. Okay, let's make sure the glue is still flowing. Good. Okay. So what we're going to have is we're going to have this one and that one. So we'll just put this right here. Just a little bit of glue, not too much. This glue here is nice because it flows well, but it's sticky enough to hold. And then under here, we'll come right under here. We want to get under where those strands are coming across. Like so. And then I'm going to put the lid back on that glue because we don't really want it to dry out before we're ready for it to dry out. Okay. And then we will pull those last two knots up tight. There and there. Like so. So we've caught it underneath and on top. And then we will let this dry and then we'll trim those ends. But the other thing let's do is just give it a run up on the mandrel right quick to make sure everything's plenty tight. We don't want to glue it here though because we don't want to glue it to the mandrel. Okay. And we're going to wait to trim these until after that glue is dry. It holds astonishingly well, this glue does. Okay. We let that dry. And then we'll trim the ends. Whoop, there goes the lid. Once your glue is good and dry, you can come back in with your really sharp scissors. You can tell it's dry because it dries clear. It doesn't have any more of that whiteness left. Come with your really sharp scissors and just trim it close on both sides. I know that seems a little risky, but that glue is pretty amazing. If you're uneasy about that, simply dab another little bit of glue on there to catch those raw ends, but you've already glued it twice. It's not very likely to come undone. And then let it dry again. So you can't even tell where that other glue was. Alrighty, it's all done and dry. Done, dry, and trimmed. And yep, it fits. So that's how to make a macrame ring from start to finish. Let me know if you have any questions. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video, and please consider subscribing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.